Well, and it's funny because I would say, like, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time and you're thinking, oh, we're bagging off on suppliers, I would guess that
Not at all.
95% of the time we come down on the supplier's side on these little
Yeah.
issues.
That's right. Promo up front, money in the pick, the mullet, a full podcast.
I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by. See, all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. That's right, Kirby, and that's exactly how we're going to
Wow.
start off episode number 223 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the interim admiral of accounts payable, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm not sure what the title means, and I think that everybody in my office would not want me to be in charge of accounts payable. But no, I'm doing well. We're getting ready. As you know, we're recording this a day early. Thank you for your flexibility. We do our big customer show every year. It's been 15 or 20 years, and it's tomorrow. And I'm fired up about that. That's one of those things that we work on for, for all, gosh, I mean, like 6, 8 months, and of course, then every person in my family wants me to come to something on today and tomorrow.
Of
And
course,
so,
that's
but yeah,
how it goes.
yeah, it is. But I'm super fired up about it. It's always really fun. How are you, bud?
I'm fired up for you. I know it's something you and your team work very hard at every year. I think this. How many years have you done it now?
I'm not, I don't know that we wrote it down the first time because we never thought it would be like this big long thing, but it's between 15 and 20 years. We were pretty
All
early for
right,
the end
so
user.
yeah, you've been doing it for quite a long time. I know it's something you, like I said, you and your team put a whole lot of energy into, and I think I speak for all four of our listeners and wish you the most success. No, I'm
Thanks,
doing
buddy.
well. Weather's awesome this time of year in
Yeah.
Nashville. It's like 72 during the day, 50 at night. It's absolutely gorgeous. But as we enter kind of the home stretch of 2024, it got me to thinking, Kirby, as
Mm,
things often do. Kirby, when there's uncertainty in the economy, and it seems like there always is, it can really paralyze decision making when it comes to making critical investments to grow your business.
mm,
And that's where our good friends at AWS, you might know them as Artwork Services
mm.
USA, that's where they come in. For 24 years, they have played a critical behind the scenes role in providing technology and back office solutions such as advanced ERP solutions designed
Mm.
specifically for the promotional products industry, a frictionless order management systems, AI-driven marketing automation, comprehensive website development, and best-in-class virtual assistant program. Now,
Nice.
Kirby, before you say something, let me go a little further. Thank you for
Please.
silently allowing me to do that. There's such a need for fully integrated solution where technology and services work in harmony to deliver efficiencies to both the customer facing front end and for the back end operations areas. And the good news is, like I said, for 24 years,
Mm.
AWS has addressed that need and helped promotional products organizations of all shapes and sizes not only mitigate the risks of economic volatility and technological disruptions, but also power their growth and profitability. Now, Kirby, I could clearly go on and on and
Sure.
on about the solutions AWS happens to offer, but instead, why don't I get your thoughts on the truly amazing single source solution that AWS provides?
Yeah, I think the big key is it just sounds like such a great partner, right? Like I think when you're trying to build any kind of business, there's times where you have strengths and liabilities, and I think utilizing a partner like AWS to fill in some of those gaps and allow you to run a seamless organization allows you to grow in a much faster and more efficient way.
Yeah, Kirby, usually I say this and I don't mean it today. I do. I couldn't have said it any better myself. AWS has empowered suppliers and distributors to reach new heights through innovative technology driven solutions and virtual assistant programs for just shy of a quarter century. You don't do that by accident.
Sure.
And in those 24 years, Kirby, they have helped their clients dramatically increase their productivity while reducing their costs. That, my friend, is the value of a truly integrated single source solution. So learn more about how AWS can benefit you by visiting them at artworkservicesusa.com. All right, Kirby, why don't we get rolling on this episode?
Mhm.
I have the honor of the upfront section of the podcast, and I thought it would be kind of fitting to talk about someone I know you admire.
Mhm.
I know I admire, and I think he's someone that's admired by the entire promotional products industry. And that's one Paul Kiwi, who
Mm.
recently announced he is retiring at the end of the year.
Mm.
For those of you who don't know who Paul Kiwi is, what kind of rock are you living under? Paul Kiwi is a PPAI Hall of Famer. He is an industry icon. More importantly, though, he is a consummate giver. He has been his entire career. He started this industry in 1983 with Promotion Concepts, was there for 25 years, sold it, worked with great brands like Kellogg's, things like that. Ended up working at another distributorship, but then he found his real calling, which was to lead a nonprofit organization, in this case, the Michigan Promotional Products Association, which he has done capably for more than a decade. And when he took over MIPA, or the Michigan Promotional Products Association, they were in dire straits.
Mm.
I don't think they could barely afford to pay him.
Yeah.
And so Paul did what he's always done. He innovated. He was creative. He created the Promotions That Roar show. He created Wild Wednesday webinars, which I believe every regional association uses now to make sure that people are getting education on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
I think he's also done the Tuesday Learning Labs, things like that. And so he's leaving MIPA in such a great shape. It is the second largest regional now, only to the SAGNY, which is a specialty advertising association of Greater New York. He is turning 72 in January. And I love this quote. PPI did a really nice piece on him. If you have a chance, check that out over ppai.org. But they asked him what he wants to do now that he's retiring. And his quote was, whatever I want. And I love that. What a great perspective. So I don't know what you would like to add to that. You and I have had an opportunity to work with Paul Kiwi. We did a little project called Promo MBA about 5-6 years ago. Just such a lovely human being.
Yeah, it was funny. Obviously, I'd heard that he had made the announcement. He got to meet my youngest daughter there at LDC where you were, and she was like, she texted me about it. And the thing that I always think of when I think of Paul is I just think of kind. You mentioned giving, and it's actually when I first heard him speak was at a SKU-Con event where he kind of told his
You and I are
story.
sitting right
Yeah,
next to each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Because he's had some rough patches in his life. Absolutely,
yeah,
as we all have.
and he talked in that keynote about even in those difficult times, not allowing it to change his response and continuing to be the kind of person he wanted to be, even through when people
Yeah.
weren't the way that he wanted them to be. And that's one of those lessons that I heard years and years ago that have stuck with me. And I literally brought that up to Jade. And I think when I think of Paul, he has created sort of a legacy or an example that any of us who are trying to be pseudo leaders in this industry want to live up to. So, I joked with him that he's been trying to retire for just shy of 10 years, right? Like but I think that the value he brings to organizations, they don't want to let him go. And so again, all of those would be testaments to Paul Kiwi. So congrats,
Yeah,
man.
100%. And
Yeah.
he's definitely, he's 72. And when people say, oh, he's 72 years young, sometimes that's like, but he's really 72 years young. I mean, this
Yeah, I
guy goes
agree.
hiking, he goes mountain climbing, he goes skiing. He's incredibly vibrant, incredibly active. And I had a chance to chat with him both at the Promotions East show a few weeks
Mm.
back and last week at LDC, and just said thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. He's been such a nurturing, guiding force for me. I'm not the only one, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
for
And
sure.
so I just thought, you said it very well. He's kind. He is a
Mhm.
kind human being who cares
Yeah,
very deeply and very passionately about not only this industry, but the people who comprise this industry
yeah.
and making sure that they reach the absolute heights of success. So, a few more months before Paul officially turns the keys over to MIPA. They haven't made an announcement yet who's going to be the executive director, but I'm going to miss seeing Paul at
Yeah,
trade shows and things like that. But who knows what the future holds for Paul? But for right now, Godspeed, Paul. We
yeah,
love you. We're going to miss you. The
yeah,
industry's going to miss you.
yeah. Whatever he wants, that's what it's gonna be.
Whatever he wants. Hey,
That's all.
Kirby. You know what I love?
Uh, Yeah,
I
me.
love yeah, I'm talking about things you don't know that I
Oh,
love,
okay.
Kirby. Come on.
Sorry.
I love the fact that our good pals over at Hirsch are introducing new and exciting retail brands all the time. All
Mhm.
the time, Kirby. That's right. This week they are launching a new line of amazing Anchor technology products. I love their chargers and things like that. They're
Yep.
fabulous. But if that weren't enough, SodaStream is going to be coming very soon, which I love SodaStream. That's
Mm,
right. The ability to make your own carbonated drinks at home. You can do water, you can do sort of sodas, you can do all these things, great things, and again, great branding opportunities. You might want to bookmark hirschpromo.com because frankly, I can't keep up with all the new merchandise they're
yeah.
putting there, but you're going to keep up to date with the retail brands that your clients love. Hirschpromo.com. All right, Kirby,
Love it.
do you have a topic for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to reference an article. So I'll throw my glasses on here so I can open it up. Chris
Yep.
Ruvo, one of our pals at ASI, wrote an article a week or two ago that the 4 reasons promo is going to have a strong fourth quarter, which I really
Okay.
enjoyed the article. So, and you know, we talk about ASI all the time. They do a great job of creating content around the industry. And this was one I clicked on because I was like, I felt like, oh man, we need to speak this into existence, right?
Oh,
Like,
I haven't seen it, so I'm curious to hear about it.
yeah, he talks about that business is churning, buyers still have budgets, and they're ready to spend. And the presidential election will be over, which will be good, which I thought was an interesting thing. The Fed dropped interest rates.
Yep.
And so it's a great article through ASI. So, but I don't want to dive too deep into that. I wanted to just
Yeah.
kind of go, look, I want to, as I said, I want to speak this into existence. I read this because I'm like, this is what I want to believe, right? And so I read through it and I was like, wow, really good, got me thinking. And then I thought, okay, well, what can I do to prove it into existence? What can I do to take action into existence? So I thought that might be a little bit more helpful for those 4 listeners to say, what can we do to make this
Yep.
fourth quarter strong? And so I have a couple thoughts, although I didn't write them down. I just kind of
Yeah.
thought through them, and I wanted to give you an opportunity because I know you're doing coaching and all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. I think the first thing that comes to my mind, if you want a strong fourth quarter, you work with the clients you already have.
Yes.
I would not dive deep personally into new business right now. I would work if you're a distributor, I would work very hard on the clients I have
Yeah.
and whatever budget they have left, claim it as your own.
Yeah.
Maximize that budget. That's not to say bleed them dry, but they've got money to spend. Make sure you're showing them the value of promotional merchandise as a marketing vehicle to help them accomplish whatever goals they have. And that could be holiday gifting, it could be any manner of things. That's number one. The
Yeah.
second thing I do, you want a strong fourth quarter, start thinking about first quarter 2025.
Love that.
That's where your prospecting needs to start happening. So you want a strong fourth quarter, you might not have it this year. So
Yeah.
start thinking about the strong fourth quarter for next year. So now is the time you lay those seeds. People are getting busy, and even if they're not busy, they're going to find reasons to be busy.
Right.
Holidays are coming up. People get distracted. I'm busy with family stuff. I want to do this. I want to do that. Let's meet in the new year. That's fine. Then set that up. Now is the time to start setting the table for January, February, March,
Yeah.
so that um, so that you can have the conversation. Last thing, now is the time people are talking about budgets. Now is,
Yeah, I love
and
that.
we might even be a little late for that.
Yeah.
Probably not. Most organizations put it off to the very last minute. But we're talking about budgets for 2025. So you'll feel a lot better about your fourth quarter if you know you have a segment of your client spend as you begin the new year.
Yeah,
That's
man, that's
off the
really good.
top of my head. Not a
Those are
lot of
really
thought
good.
into it.
No, that's really good. Yeah, I think what I've kind of preached to our team is sort of the old school thing is that, I think sometimes when times are good, and like the phone's ringing off the hook, we're getting emails faster than we can. It's like
Right.
we wait for things to come in. And I said, if we want to have a great fourth quarter, we don't want to do that. We want to literally, as much as everybody doesn't want to do this, we need to physically pick up the phone and call people and ask for the business. It is a little bit old school. Maybe you don't feel great about it, but I'm telling you, it's amazing how many people just make that last minute decision because it reminds me, Bill, of the statistic I talk about all the time is that 69% of customers who leave you because of perceived indifference.
Right.
What
Right.
I want to make sure is that my customers don't believe that I don't want their business this fourth quarter, that it's
I
not
think we're both saying the same thing
yeah.
there.
Oh,
Just
I agree.
almost parallel approaches. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
I love it.
agree. And then the thing that really struck me that you said was that was something I did last year is December has historically been fairly slow for us because people are kind of done doing the corporate buys a lot of the time. And last year I made a huge point of trying to get meetings to talk about the following year. And I had a lot of success with that, even to the point where I got some last minute orders because people thought it was too late or whatever. And so I think that's great advice. So this was good. So hopefully it provides
Yeah,
some value.
I think so. You know, like you, I look at Brand of Eight, and a lot of my, you know, starting a business and being, you know, focused on that. I think it's really been a key shift for me when I flipped the switch and decided I am going to make sure I spend basically the last 2 months of the year, November, December, setting up the next year.
Mm.
Because first 2 years I waited till 2020, you know, the
Yeah.
January, and then I'm like scrambling and, you know, pulling
Yeah.
things together,
That's a
and,
great point.
and it's made for a better life. So you want to have a strong fourth quarter, start working on next year. Because like
Yeah.
you said, good things happen. People will give you those last minute orders, things like that. I love
I,
that.
I agree. And then one final thought, and this just popped into my
Yeah.
head, is just practice what we preach. Like you said, talk about taking care of your customers that you
Hmm.
already have. Let's make sure that we're actually doing the branded merch and taking care of our top 20-25% of customers and getting in front of them because good things happen when we do that too.
Absolutely. All right, Kirby, let's have some promotional products professionals fun, shall we?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Excellent. So someone posted in that group. I'm going to leave them anonymous,
Okay,
and I'm
good.
just going to read it. I'm just going to read it. Hi, friends. I'm just going to read this, and then let's just talk about what
Yep.
our thoughts on this. Hi, friends. Would love your 2 cents on the situation with a supplier. So this is obviously a distributor who posted this.
Yep.
I was quoted on hats, presented accurate proofs, and had the products delivered to my client. I prepaid the supplier in the full amount on the quote. Everything was great until 2+ months later. The supplier emails me saying I owe them more money, and they just added a line item for an additional location charge.
Mm.
I believe this is unfair. You cannot go back and adjust the quote and demand more money after the deal is closed. In my opinion, if the supplier had made a quoting error, they should honor that and eat the cost, especially after this amount of time. Any insight on how to handle this situation is appreciated. Now,
Mm.
I have definite thoughts on this.
Mhm.
I'm sure you do as well. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'll go. And again, obviously off the top, the big thing about any of these posts is I don't really know the full scope of the
I'm
deal.
taking this post at face value
A
that
hundred percent
what that person posted for the purposes of this conversation,
is
we're going to
accurate.
take as gospel.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. All right. Then I kind of am with them on this one because you get a quote so that you can price it. A lot of times where people make the mistake is they don't get an official quote on shipping. If you're going to factor
Yep.
that in, they just do it off the website. That's not the same. That's not an official quote. Candidly, once like he said, it's delivered and or she, once it's delivered and like it's why I want an order confirmation, right? And usually a supplier sends us an order confirmation. We have to make sure that those two things match. Honestly, if all of those things have gone true and you've had an order confirmation, you send me the bill later and I'll be like, all right,
Yeah.
you guys have a great day. That's a no for me, dog. I'm not paying for that
Yeah.
because you didn't tell me. So that's my take.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Again, assuming this is all accurate and
Yep.
assuming that, you know, this they can't, because I've actually had this happen to me.
Yeah.
I bought some merchandise for Brand of Eight in 2020, and then in 2022, I got an invoice for an extra $20 of shipping charge. Now I could have easily paid that, but no, I'm not paying it. I'm
Yeah.
not paying it at all because A, I gave you my shipper number. I don't know what this $20 is. No one could ever answer it for me, so I
Yeah.
didn't pay it. If you and I look, I'm human. You're human. I misquote things sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I eat it every single time
Yeah. It's just,
because the value of the relationship is far greater than the monetary difference
yeah,
that I'm either going to recoup or not. So I don't, again, assuming this is all accurate,
of course.
you can't go back. You know, I can understand if you were provided a quote and then 48 hours later say, "Hey, we screwed up.
Before
I'm
the order's
sorry."
placed, whatever. Yeah.
Man, once that order is placed, it's over, Johnny.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I think there's some exceptions for sure, but certainly 2 months after it's been delivered, yeah, I wouldn't expect that at all. And
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's pretty poor form.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much the opinion of the proletariat in the
Yeah.
group.
Well, and it's funny because I would say, like, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time and you're thinking, oh, we're bagging off on suppliers, I would guess that
Not at all.
95% of the time we come down on the supplier's side on these little
Yeah.
issues. Usually this one feels, now, again, the challenge, like you think about a construction project, you say, okay, I quoted on the home. But then the person who's building the home's like, well, I want different kinds of doors. Okay, well, that'll change the price. If that third location was, not a part of the original quote, or
Right.
there's a
Was it added later? Sure.
yeah, but again, that should have been then on the order acknowledgement. There's a couple things that the supplier could have done to
Yeah.
make that work.
My guess is it's a entry level, a junior employee. No, I don't mean that to be those to be pejorative terms, but a frontline employee who just sees a charge and passes it along. My sense is once that was brought to somebody's attention, the rep the distributor brings it to the attention of the rep they have a relationship with, or someone else. I'm sure it was waived. I don't know what the resolution was.
Yeah.
I tend to like you. We tend to fall on the side of suppliers here because they do drive this business,
Well,
like it
but
or not,
also
but they
because I think
do.
sometimes the complaints that you see on the promotional products profession page
Oh,
are unprofessional. They
oh,
generally
absolutely.
are. This one's different, it
This,
feels to me.
this was handled very well. And
Yeah.
again, I don't know what the resolution is. I
Yeah.
assume it was resolved to everybody's satisfaction. So I thought it
Cool.
was an interesting little topic
Yeah, I
that I
love it.
like to call PPP fun.
Yeah. Okay. So this will probably be a quick one because I almost guarantee I know what you're going to say, but I saw this headline literally this morning. I thought it was interesting. So Home Depot ordered all of its corporate employees, including senior management, to work an 8-hour retail shift every quarter so that they could
Hmm.
truly understand, quote, truly understand the challenges and opportunities at stores that the store folks are facing every day. Um, I have a thought on this, but I was just kind of curious to see when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay. What is your take on the Home Depot sort of making this decision?
100% on board. I can't believe they haven't been doing this. I
I,
think it's absolutely super, super smart of them.
yeah.
Back a million years ago, when I worked at Halo and I had a sales team, I would play Boxing Day. If you're familiar with Boxing Days, it's where bosses and subordinates switch roles for a day.
Mm,
In England, it's usually it's actually always December 26th, the day after Christmas. I would have sales reps sit with their sales assistants one day a month so they could see the bullshit they had to deal with because
yeah.
they always think they're not responsive and all this. And I also had sales assistants ride along with salespeople because at the time the prevailing thought was, well, salespeople they're having three martini lunches, they're getting
Yeah.
their dry cleaning done, they're not doing anything. And it always provided unique insight into the lives of what other people are doing that make the business go. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. I think I actually, I agree 1,000%. I actually thought you were going to say no shit. Like I like you was surprised that it wasn't already happening. That being said,
Yeah.
kudos for rolling it out. I actually
Yep.
love one of the things that we're working on here is working on documenting more of the processes so that people can sit in different seats, and if somebody's on vacation, it's something that I worked on years ago and have let it
Sure.
go. And so me walking through that has actually been really helpful because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm doing it and document it while I do it. And I'll go, okay, we're not doing it right. Like
Yeah.
and maybe I haven't, as the leader, explained why we do it the way we do it. Um, and when you kind of sit in those seats and do the job yourself, it's amazing. Like I remember, and when we lost somebody a couple different times where they would leave, I would take their job. And like for a while there, I was like, I'm going to see if I can be CEO and administrative assistant to the rest of the team. And I actually was like,
Right.
oh, I thought because we lost a couple in a row. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm just asking way too much. And what I determined was, okay, I've easily been able to do this job with my
Right.
job. And I'm like, we're not asking enough. They're bored. And I
Yeah.
think that by doing that, it really does give you some insight. So I thought that was cool.
No, I think that's awesome. All right, quick one, Kirby. Let's
Yep.
bring back the marketing genius of the week, shall we?
Oh,
Are
okay.
you familiar with the fast food, let's call it quick service chain called McDonald's? Are you
Yeah.
familiar with that
Yeah,
company?
absolutely.
Excellent.
I've been there once or
So,
twice.
so they have a reputation that their McFlurry machines tend to
Mm.
break.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so there's actually a website that keeps track of it. It's called McBroken.com. Pretty funny. Um, McBroken.com keeps track of which McDonald's locations have their ice cream machines down. And so Wendy's, because whoever runs marketing at Wendy's, absolute flippin' genius. By
Yeah.
using McBroken.com's data, Wendy's partnered with McBroken.com. Wendy's found that Chicago, Houston, Las Vegas, New York, and Los Angeles had significant McDonald's branches with no ice cream. So then what they did, Wendy's rolled out what they called Frosty Fix trucks, ice
Mm.
cream trucks, soft serve ice cream trucks parked right outside key McDonald's locations,
Nice.
not serving ice cream, with the back design reading, honk if you love reliable desserts. Man, I love this. I don't have the words to explain how much I love this. It has nothing to do with promotional products. It has everything to do with
Marketing.
my takeaway from this is you have a client in Wendy's, you have an agency in whomever figured this out, or maybe it's somebody internal, whomever. You have some sort of relationship there, whatever that is, of trust.
Yeah.
This is on brand. This is awesome, and I want more of this.
Yeah. What I like is I feel like Wendy's has taken like their snarkiness from
Hmm.
Twitter and social media, and they've
Hmm.
just like, hey, this seems to be going great. Let's double down
Oh
in
yeah,
every possible way. And then on the other side, like which everything you just said, I love, and I've noticed nationally. Separate from this is they are running Frosty $1 Frosty specials even in my area, right? So they are
yeah,
going from a business perspective. We're going, okay, we're good at snarky. We're going to do that. We're going to
yeah.
do all the things. And then they're like, okay, we're going to make a business case to drive people to this with beautiful
Yeah.
footage and all this stuff. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I think this is really good.
I think it's great, and I love that. But I'll tell you what's never going to leave you frosty or cold. It's the hot solutions you can get from our good pals over at AWS. That's right, Artwork Services USA, advanced ERP solutions that are designed specifically for the branded merchandise industry, frictionless order management systems, AI-driven marketing automation, comprehensive website development, best-in-class virtual assistant programs. That's right. AWS has empowered suppliers and distributors to reach new heights through innovative technology driven solutions and virtual assistant programs for almost 25 years. I tell you what, when you think about a single source solution and the
Yeah.
cost savings, the energy savings, the calorie burn it's going to save you, boy, there's no better partner on the planet than AWS. So why don't you learn more about AWS and how their services can benefit you and your organization by visiting artworkservicesusa.com. You won't be sorry you did. Now, Kirby, I want to thank you for having the courage to podcast with me at such an exceptionally high level today. Good luck with your end user show tomorrow. And hopefully your McFlurry machine is working in Coshocton.